Hello there, welcome back. I'm Brandon Bailey, here to follow up my Metallica albums ranking video with my top 10 Metallica songs. Which, by my mistake, I forgot to think of while I was ranking their albums at all. So I literally just put this list together after filming my ranking video because I realized that I hadn't thought about revising my old Metallica lists. So I had to quickly put this together in my head, just to make it make sense in the video and the context of it. I didn't want to delay it. So, without further ado, let's get into it. And then maybe before we get to the first one, I'll give some honorable mentions. At number 10, we have a track off the Black Album. We have Holier Than Thou, which I love the lyrics to this song. It's super catchy. Kind of still a little bit thrashy for like the sound of the Black Album, I would say. Awesome solo on it. It just gets really intense, and I love it. This is probably the song that goes the hardest on that whole album. At number 9, probably got a surprise for people, but this one's always been a favorite of mine. I don't understand the hate it gets. I don't know. Maybe it's the changing of the keys, but I think that all flows very well in this song. I have My Friend of Misery. Of course, this is like Jason Newsted's Time to Shine on the bass. Love that bass riff. Love the build of this song and the dark, menacing energy it has. Love the chorus to it. Has an awesome chorus. I love the James's guitar solo when it comes in with that. It's like this twin thing. And then Kirk's solo's awesome on it. It's cool. It's just such a good, catchy song, but also really dark and haunting. I love it. Kind of has like a nostalgia for me in that way. At number 8, we have another song that's controversial that I also really love. And funny enough, both of these songs are the 2 songs on each of these albums that they hadn't really played up until they played the whole albums all the way through. And I have Escape from Ride the Lightning, if you know what I'm talking about. That's a song they notoriously have, flagged in their catalog for some reason, personally. I think it was because they felt it was, too poppy or melodic for the time or something, but that is exactly why I like this song amongst the other tracks on Ride the Lightning. It's just very catchy, melodic. I love the changes in the chords, and the solo on this song is one of the best that Kirk has. It's so fucking badass. And I just love the way it fades out with the life on my own, to live my own way. It's just got such good lyrics, so cool. Kind of reminds me of an Iron Maiden or Judas Priest song, which is different for them, but it's such a good song, well constructed. I like it a lot. We got number 7, my only track that I managed to squeeze on here off a load. We have Bleeding Me, which kind of feels along with the Outlaw Torn, feels like a cousin to Heaven and Hell by Dio-led Black Sabbath. Kind of gives me those vibes, but also a little bit of the grungy, Alice in Chains-y, Soundgarden-y, kind of metal-ish grunge vibes of those bands too. Great lyrics to this song though, about, just, everything bleeding you, draining you, being a leech on you. Great, awesome, gnarly guitar solo. It's totally whacked out from Kirk on here. Such good epic build and groove on this song. Let's see, at number 6, we have Halo on Fire, the only new era song I have on here, from Hardwired to Self-Destruct. There's obviously a lot of awesome songs on here, but this has always been the one that has stuck out to me the most. I love the movements of the different parts on here. There's 3 different sections of the song, and they shouldn't work together, but they managed to figure out a way to do it, and it's very impressive, and they're all such catchy parts. I love James's guitar solo on here. I love Kirk's guitar solo on here. When it gets to the end, though, that's definitely the best part. When it just gets to that in the hello darkness, say goodbye part, that. that's the whole album. That's all I needed. Like, it's such a good song. Like, I love the build on Halo on Fire a lot, and it's a special one to me. And it's one that I feel like doesn't get talked about like as much, maybe because it just wasn't like a big single like Moth into Flame or Hardwired or Atlas Rise, but that song is cool. Anyway, number 5, moving on. Back to Ride the Lightning. We have Call of Cthulhu, which is probably one of, if not, it's a hard toss-up. I have to really think about this later, but it's definitely one of my favorite instrumental rock songs, or just instrumentals ever, period. Call of Cthulhu, it's just such a exercise of like Cliff Burton's like composition work, and I love the changes of this song. It's so dark and, you know, freaking evil sounding. It doesn't even need words to get that point across to you. Like, the bass wall on Cliff's bass makes it sound like fucking Cthulhu's either coming across space or lurking in the water. It's just a crazy song. The solo might be Kirk's craziest solo. It might not be the actual hardest he has to play, but like in terms of like how it sounds and shit, like nothing is like the solo in Call of Cthulhu. It's great. Love the outro of this song. The song just like never ends. It just keeps getting more and more pounding on you. It's so great. Like, this song gives me goosebumps when I listen to it for sure. Moving on, at number 4, this one was kind of hard to divvy out between them, because for a long time this is the song I felt was like their actual like magnum opus of like peak potential for them. I don't know if I so much feel that these days, but number 4 I have Ride the Lightning, the title track from Ride the Lightning. What could be said about this one? I mean, obviously this is like a Dave Mustaine influence one. It's got that one riff that's basically just the same riff from Wake Up Dead, the the spider chord thing. If anyone's a fan of Dave Mustaine, they know about the spider chord stuff and all of the allegations between what Metallica used of his and what they didn't. But that doesn't really, I mean, back in the day that might have added to my intrigue to those songs, for sure. And why I was attached to them, because I definitely am a huge Megadeth fan too. But this song to me is like fucking just balls to the wall. Like, Ride the Lightning, man. Another one of Kirk's best guitar solos. It's got awesome twin moments in it. Like, the build of this song, the scope of it is just so menacing. And like, it straps you right into the electric chair, you know, like, it's crazy. It is an awesome, intense song, and it doesn't get much better than this, but there's a few more that I like a little more. And at number 3, we have, from Master of Puppets, The Thing That Should Not Be, another ode to H.P. Lovecraft's The Call of Cthulhu. You know, just basically just talking about that again, but this time lyrically and not instrumentally. I love this song so much, though. It's so doomy for them and so just like stoner metal, evil, like kind of sounding. The chords to this just like have so much chromaticism and such weird movement to them. It's crazy. Definitely crazy stuff, like how they even thought of this. I'm sure that was kind of Cliff's like influence of making just things that usually only work in classical compositions work within metal riffage. But yeah, this song's so weird. It has that weird solo in it, like with the dive bombs and stuff like that, which I guess you could say is influential to the way that Kirk would do solos later, like how he would just kind of use like some wah noises and dive bomb noises to add textures to solos later. This definitely feels like a predecessor to that. Love the timing and the different meter changes in this song. It just keeps you on your toes, even though it's kind of just like a brooding pace throughout. It's just such a goddamn heavy song. Maybe one of the heaviest songs ever conceived. Alright. Let's see, at number 2, we have my only track off of And Justice for All on here. Dyers Eve. This is debatable. I've been trying to bounce this around in my head for a while, but I do feel that this is one of, if not the hardest song to play all the way through on guitar, especially with Kirk's guitar solo and stuff. This song just keeps you on your toes, and it's really hard to play, really fast. But I love this song. It's got like some progressive elements to how the things change in the song and the meters that are added and whatnot. Just such a great song. Very brutal and heavy. One of their heaviest for sure. I love Lars's use of the double bass in this song. It's just insane. So many different sections and awesome parts to it. But the way it opens, too, just kind of, like, smacks you in the face, like, in the best way, like, Metallica style, with that bum 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 bum. Like, there's just no letting up on this song. Not at all. Alright, before I get to my number one, though, gonna have some honorable mentions, go through the albums, like, Kill 'Em All, you know, could have had Phantom Lord on here, I like that song a lot. Motor Breath's awesome. But I feel like both of those songs in particular kind of have solos that don't really, like, add a whole lot to the song. Like, they kind of, like, I don't know, just seem random to me. There's some other good ones on there, though, for sure. Four Horsemen, obviously, which is pretty much Mechanics by Megadeth. On Ride the Lightning, you have cool ones that I should have put Fight Fire with Fire on here. It's one of the heaviest songs ever, one of the fastest freaking songs ever. Definitely one of the fastest for them. That song's just intense too. I mean, you got Trapped Under Ice on there, another really good one. Let's see, you know, on Master Puppets, you obviously got Damage Inc. Sanitarium's a good one too, maybe an obvious one. You also got Disposable Heroes, which is hard for me to not include on here. Orion, you know, you got them epic bass solos and that awesome, like, classical part in it. On Injustice for All, you know, Shortest Straw could have been on here. I like that one a lot. Freight Ends of Sanity, Harvester of Sorrow. It's just so many good songs. Blackened. It's, you know, they got so many bangers in the 80s, it's hard to divvy those ones out. And then on the Black Album, there's obviously some great songs, Of Wolf and Man, The God That Failed, Don't Tread on Me. I feel like those are all pretty underrated and just awesome songs that really stand out to me. On Load, Hero of the Day. I mean, I know the only reason I didn't put Outlaw Torn on here is because it's sort of similar to Bleeding Me, but that song is just as epic. I like Ronnie a lot. That song's got this weird kind of southern bluesy groove to it and very unique riff going on in it. The House That Jack Built was another one I was bouncing around for this. It was a really good one. Mama Said, obviously, a beautiful song. You know, I probably would never have considered these for my top 10, but on Reload, you know, you got, like, fucking, Fixer, you got Unforgiven 2, which I know some people are iffy on, but I like that song a lot. I think it's beautiful. Memory Remains, epic hit for them. Where the Wild Things Are is another good deep cut on that one. It's just, probably would never put any of those in my top 10, but they're definitely worthy songs, no doubt. You know, No Leaf Clover on S&M, amazing song, could have been on here. Some of their Garage Inc. versions even could have been considered. I love some of their versions more than the original, just because it's through that Metallica lens. You know, I love Some Kind of Monster, Frantic, and Sane Anger. Those songs on Sane Anger are great to me. Death Magnetic, All Nightmare Long, I was considering for this. Broken, Beaten, Scarred was considering. The Day That Never Comes. I love all those songs a lot. And you also got, like, The End of the Line and Cyanide. Those epic-ass songs. Hardwired has great ones. Spit Out the Bone. You know, Atlas Rise, Moth into Flame. Murder One. Those are all really good songs. Even the title track's really good. on the new one, I was considering Lex Eterna, Too Far Gone, Screaming Suicide. Those were like just a couple of the ones I was considering. It's hard for me to put those in here because it's just, I feel they're too fresh to me and they haven't had as much of an impact as my actual top 10. But anyway, those are some of my honorable mentions. You know, Metallica has a lot of good songs, a lot of stuff to divvy through. They also have some shit here and there too, believe it or not, but we're going to get to my favorite song, absolutely not shit, in my opinion, one of the best heavy metal songs of all time, and not just because of the Dave Mustaine thing surrounding it, you know, the controversy of whether he had anything to do with this song or not, but Leper Messiah from Master of Puppets is my number one, and goddamn, this song is just brutal. It's just a brutal tour de force. And yes, most of it does kind of introduce some of that mid-tempo groove that Metallica would get into later. But it has definitely some really good thrash moments as well. Like that bridge riff, that like, so good. Solo in here is definitely my favorite Kirk Hammett guitar solo. Might not be his hardest, but the fact that he just does sweep picking for like a short little bit, like it always entertains me a bit. But it's also just really crazy too. Like outside of that, it just comes up so fast in the song, and it's just like when you're playing this song, you just got no room to breathe when that comes up. Goddamn, when it gets to the lie, like he's just drilling that into your head. And then it all boils back down, you know, like that crazy production technique where it's like, and then Lars's drum fill, like, it's just such good flow on this song. It's so epic, so gnarly. I love what it's talking about too. Like the lyrics are great, as they usually are in Metallica songs. They usually get you some pretty thought-provoking lyrics. But yeah, that's my favorite Metallica song. Has been for a long time, and that hasn't changed. Some of the other songs in this list have bounced around a little bit, but not really much, honestly. A lot of these have stayed the same. I've swapped out a couple on this, but mainly just the movements of them have changed. But yeah, that's just how my opinions have changed over the years. Not really like any songs are truly better. Like I said, even like I feel like, you know, the solo in Call of Cthulhu is maybe like the craziest Kirk has sounded, but Dyers Eve is kind of like technically the hardest he's played. So it's like, but that doesn't make it one song better than the other. It's kind of just my enjoyment of it and how strong I feel they stack up, like melodically and structure-wise in their catalog. But anyway, that's my list, my top 10 list. I'm going to leave the link to the Spotify playlist below. I'm going to do that for all my top 10 lists if you guys want to hear what I put together and get your own thoughts going on in that. Maybe you want to dive into what I'm saying here. Either way, I will see you in the next ranking and top 10 video. Hopefully you hit subscribe and ring the bell for future videos. But anyway, have a wonderful day. Peace and love.